I try one more time. That's set. That's good.
And that says um 7. That's not bad. It don't seem bad. Got the noti. I wonder what happens if I would run this in efficiency mode. I wonder what that would do. I wonder what that would do. Oh, if I have this open, oh, I don't need this. So if I take this off, does it go down? Not really. I have to get a new memory low key. It's okay. At least for now. It's okay for now. Yo, what's good, Marquise? Just trying to test some stuff. Not sure if the stream will stay up. For real, for real. Glad you're here, though. Glad you're here. Yeah, I might as well change that chat overlay back. That just doesn't look good. Being completely honest, it looks horrible. Save that. Hopefully it'll look better like it used to. That font is just not good. How you been, Marquise? How you been, man? You excited for peak on Thursday night, Friday morning, depending on your time zone and such, and things of that nature. I don't know, you can't hear the fan in the background. You probably can when I talk, but that's okay. Chilling. Yeah, the background is good. I don't know why I shut up like that. Did I not click save? Hello? Oh, it wasn't Anton. That's right. It was compact. I'm tripping. It was compact. No, was it? Was it Anton? I have no idea what that font was. I cannot remember. I'm just gonna play with the fonts for a little bit. Maybe I should just set this to 0. That is not a 0. What's good, Jalen? Glad to see you in here. You excited for Ordeal to come back? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know you were. I know you were. I could just tell. Because why would you not be? You know what I mean? This is looking good so far. It's not looking like it's gonna crash for some unknown PC error. Y'all doing? We doing good right now. Trying to make sure the stream stays good. Honestly, this font's not that bad. I've been trying to fix the freaking outline so it just looks better. But I don't know how to do that. It doesn't come out good. They all look bad. This font's not that bad though. What's good, Links? What's good, Links? Link, yeah, Links, yeah. I don't know why I'm questioning. It's good, my boy. I'm lucky waiting for Brent to put a new picture up so I can post on the channel in the community tab. I gotta wait for him to post it though. I don't even have to wait for him to post. I have to wait for him to put it in Discord. Because if you just post it, I'm not gonna take it from Instagram. I take all the pictures that I posted from the countdowns, especially like during season one, or not season one. I'm tripping. At the start of the season, like before the season actually began, those were taken from Discord. So I'm just waiting. The sneak peeks he's been dropping recently have been feeding my addiction. That's so funny. Um, I'm I'm excited to see what today's is. I'm excited to see what today's is. I liked yesterday's. Honestly, I like the first one. Honestly, the Abijah and Levi one. Not something I was expecting. Hopefully, we see Levi. Um, since all the pictures from the countdown of the like beginning of the season, I think that they've all been shown. So we can assume that all of these are going to be shown as well. We'll go back to Anton. Oh, I can pick a font. Oh, hold up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We can assume these are going to be shown as well. So I'm excited. Pretty hyped. I don't know what specifically I want to see just yet. But I am very excited to do the reviews again. I got almost all the scripts done. I'm still working on 141. I have a lot to say about, I think it's 130, 140. I think it's 140. Or it's either 139 or 140. And then 141 also has a fair amount to talk about too. So I'm excited to bring that to y'all. It's gonna be some good ones. Video should be at least 20 minutes, like at least. Because they seem about as long as 132 was, and that was like almost 30, so like it should be like that same length, right? The 6 days left one with Shay crying. That's my favorite. I like that one. That's a good one. I like Zahara in there. It takes too long for that thing to update, but it's there. It'll change at some point. But yeah, the depressed Shay arc we have so far. Yo, that boy Shay gonna go through it. I wonder when we're gonna see Shay with his long hair though, like the longer locks, where he looks like a little more malnourished and like skinnier. I wonder if that's gonna be like start of season 4, like end of season 3, or if like that'll be shown throughout like season 4, but like in flashbacks. Because I feel like this season will end on like in like a specific way where it's like everybody is kind of as they are physically, right? It's not like we're gonna jump too far forward or anything like that. I think like the season will kind of end just with everybody as they are, and then we'll jump to season 4, and then that's when we'll see like different changes and such, and then we might get Shay like either like a little mini arc to show his like more malnourished side, um, and then he could like actually be Ronin. But I think the flashback thing makes more sense considering he should be already Ronin by the time season 4 like picks up definitively. If it does jump to the sort of 2027, is it 27? It should be 27. So yeah, that's what I'm hyped for. I am hyped to see, or excited to see how he'll get the hat, the little hat he has, because it seems a bit like out of nowhere in terms of design, you know? Like Zahara makes sense. The mantle, we know how he gets that. But like, or in the Eye of Time as well. We don't know how he gets it, but we just know he gets it. I'm excited. I think I bring up the Eye of Time in. It's like I know I bring it up in 141. I don't think I bring it up anytime before that though. Probably starts now because he's probably gonna let himself go since we know season 3 is in the final arc. thing is like final arc could just mean like the sort of like lasting. I don't want to say it like the sort of just like quote unquote ending episodes. Because if Brent, because like his hair won't grow that fast, but like so it would have to be major conflict. Mind you, there's only 25 episodes left, so there would have to be somewhat major conflict for like 10 to 15 episodes, and then we would just jump to like who knows how long forward, where Shay just looks like utter garbage. That could work though. That could work, but I'm hoping we get 25 episodes of like action and lore before we get Hobo Shay, as Naomi puts it. Does the time skip 5 years? Let me check. Let me check because we're in 2020 right now. So if we just do some basic calculations, we can get Ronin Shay, or at least the year. It should be like 7 to 9 years. If I can find the episode. If I just keep clicking. All right, right. Episode 45. It should be 2027 when we. Whoa. It should be 2027 when we get that flash forward during season 2's opening. Yeah, so that's 2027. By that time, he is Ronin, so it'll have to be if we are jumping from 2020, which is where we are now, to 2027. It'll be 7 whole years. We also have the 2029 one from episode let me find that one too. That's episode 34, where we see Port of Spain and then we see Shay and Tevin. Right, so since these 3 seasons are flashbacks, and season 4 is like, or season 4 and onward is current time, it makes the most sense to kind of jump to where Shay is right at that point. You know what I mean? So everything we're seeing now is like history, and then in 2027, where the story is like technically in its current timeline, it would make sense for us to skip to Shay, like actually Shay as he is at that very moment. You know what I mean? And not like a sort of flash forward version or a past version. The most recent Ordeal ep for free pass is 136. It's 137. Because 138 comes out on Wednesday. On Thursday. And best believe 138 is gonna have y'all like, wow, this is what Jaden, or this is what he really thinks about this episode. I'm be like, yes. Most recent fast pass is 142. Yeah. I am fully caught up though, so I know what y'all know, and I got some opinions and I got some theories. But y'all gonna see that in due time. Y'all gonna see the new intro. Y'all gonna see hopefully new audio, or you can't see the audio, but hopefully you'll see the new audio. Or you'll be able to hear like the quality difference. I'm hoping that ends up working out good. Shout out Wolf Nara for helping me on that one. Why is it that it's saved on here but it hasn't sent yet, bro? Just change the font, please. But yeah. So good stuff coming. What am I hoping happens this arc? Okay, so I'm hoping to see Ian. I mentioned last year in 2 separate videos that I wanted to see him do something. So I'm hoping to see him do something. I really wanted him to have like a conversation if he's locked up in Patmos. I think that was one of the things I highlighted most throughout the videos. I wanted to see just him kind of interacting with other inmates, especially since he's from a police background. I really want to see that for him. In terms of like characters specifically, from what we already have in the story, I think I'm mostly just looking forward to Shay. Based on what we know for the fast pass, I am also looking forward to. There's two god tier that y'all know of. I'm not gonna put it specific. I'm not gonna say it specifically in case anybody watches this back who is free passing. But there's two god tier that y'all know of that I want to see um, for very specific reasons. Very specific reasons. One of them I guessed would be there though. For anybody who wants to go deep dive into that. Wait, Jay, you fast pass? I fast pass because of the break. So it made more sense to continue reading each week and then doing the scripts so that I don't have to spend so much time scripting throughout the week and then trying to edit. I can just have the audio recorded, or the script type, the audio recorded, and then at the beginning of the week I can just edit the audio, and then maybe near like Wednesday or Thursday I can try and get some of the visuals before the actual episode drops, right? Especially for some of the bigger and longer videos, it'll reduce the time because I could spend that would be Thursday, that'd be like Friday and Saturday just editing the visuals of the video. Yeah. All right. Hoping we get more God tier showcases, especially Mikhail. I do think Mikhail is gonna. I hope Mikhail shows up this season. I think he'll die though. Kofi. Brent is pretty certain of putting Kofi in the season. I think he has an important fight, so we'll see him. Hopefully he doesn't die though. Abijah. I'm not gonna say anything about him, but I want to see four corners. Yeah, I'll leave it right there. Brendan say something about wrapping up the fights, and something with Kofi. Yeah, see, yeah, Brent mentions he wants like Kofi's fight. I think he wants I think he's trying to wrap up the fight, like the current conflict, so that he can kind of move to Kofi. But I think there might be something right before Kofi's like sort of showcase as well. So who knows what that would be. We need to see Tevin get busy. I don't think we'll see Tevin. I don't think we'll see Tevin. I already know we don't see him, but I don't think we'll see him even more actively. Specifically because Brent said, and I think I mentioned this a couple streams ago, because Tevin this season was, at least up until this point, is for Lewis and Azam, but they've had their shine, so it's kind of moving towards other characters, like an example being Kofi, right? But I don't think Tevin will actually do anything. The only thing I'm really hoping for Tevin is to see a new Blacksmith Forge hide, or a sort of perfected hammer hide. I wonder if Brent redesigned Lion hide like he did for Rhino. I think if he did, it would probably be related to Overdrive. And then, like I said, most likely because Rhino hide looks different almost every time we see it. Yeah, I think this is Rhino hide's third visual change and fourth overall design, because there's a season 1 version, and then we see the one in episode 17, and then we see the one at the opening of season 2, and then this would be this one, so that makes 4. Back to Lionhide though, if he did change the design, I think it would be sort of reminiscent of Overdrive, if Overdrive isn't a sort of like Super Saiyan type of mode, right? If it's like permanent, if it's like permanent, which is something I did bring up in one of my past videos. Specifically, I think it's the top 5 video, since he was in my top 5 favorite characters. I did mention maybe we could get a permanent Lionhide, or a permanent Overdrive for Lionhide. Brent also mentioned, I think, in like the Discord or something, about giving Overdrive to his other hides. And personally, I'm completely against that. I don't like it. I don't like it. It would actually be, I don't think it'd be bad. I just think it wouldn't be as cool, if I'm being honest with you. I don't think it'd be as cool. I think it would take, in my opinion, it would take away Lionhide's sort of like uniqueness, because Lionhide is like pure power, which is like strength and speed. And if you give the like pure power hide this chi amp on top of that, and then give that chi amp to the others, it sort of takes away from him even needing to use that hide, right? What's good, MJ? What's good? Why my goats keep ending up benched? I'm gonna have to lock Anton for the future. Yeah, Anton's definitely not doing anything this season. I was hoping we would get him versus Kaguya, but that's probably not gonna happen until like season 4 or 5, man. Who knows? And the way Brent writes, it's like you can guess clearly things things are gonna happen, but other times it's like I didn't expect the story to even go this direction, bro. You agree on the overdrive take? Thanks. I just think it's like the way I feel about overdrive for Tevin is the way I feel about the state typing for the other Great Four the other Great Four talents. Like, we know Ilios is a state type, but if the others are as well, I think it would be a little tacky. I think it takes away from Ilios's uniqueness, which is I do bring up the Great Four in a future video, and I do mention types in a review video as well. So be on the lookout for that. I think the conversation I bring up around them is very good and very compelling, and something I mentioned is confirmed in a future episode. So be on the lookout for that. Jay back with the peak theories on Ordeal. Yes, Sirski. I'm so ready for the beginning of Future Shay. I hate that we're losing one of the pack members to get it though. Man, I don't know what you thought, man. Them niggas was gonna die. I don't know what you thought. Them niggas were going to die. I'm honestly surprised more characters haven't died yet. I was expecting a little bit more death. I was like, but we do still have 25 episodes left, so who knows who'll get off? Who knows, truly? There's no way of telling right now. Do we know the types of the Great Four? No, outside of Ilios and Thanatos, and even Thanatos isn't technically confirmed, which I mentioned in the video. We don't know the types. We know Ilios is an elemental state. State is mentioned in the story, and Brent confirms that he's elemental in the Discord Q&A on my channel. Thanatos is most likely psychic. It only makes sense. It literally wouldn't be anything else. The theories that I bring up in the future video for Kataigita would be power/haste. Power seems more definitive. And then for Okeanos, elemental just makes the most sense. So we have like certain guesses, but if they were like, if Cat is a power state type, it would be a little tacky. It would be a little lame for them to all be state types. You know what I mean? Because it also, outside of like uniqueness, it sort of takes away from the branching of talent types that somewhat come. I disagree with the Kataigita being elemental. I disagree, and I explain why. Okeanos is more elemental than Kataigita, but it's okay, because technically he's elemental, but like not in a full sense, like not in the sense of not in the same sense as Okeanos. So Okeanos would, out of all the siblings, would be like the most elemental. Because fire technically isn't an element on the periodic table, and neither is lightning, which is something I mentioned in the video. Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, see, I'm starting to feel like the story will move more like Berserk going forward. Yeah, I think that's kind of the point. Do you read ahead in the episodes? Before the break, I was only doing one episode ahead for scripts, but I'm caught up, so I could do each week's script ahead of time and record the audio. But I'm not sure if I'll read after 142. I'm debating that one. I'd assume all the great four are dual types. Yes, I agree with that. I hope not MJ, but then again, I didn't read Berserk, but I just know it gets like really bad in the verse. So the way it's pictured, it seems like a lot of negative things happen. Like a lot of negative things happen. Like if we go to 113, wait, is it 113? Yeah, if we go to 113, Evan's little dialogue, especially with what does he say near the end? What does he say? It's been years. No, that's not what I'm looking for. He said, "For all it's cost us, this better work." That implies that, let's just say, for example, and y'all can fully disagree with what I'm about to say. If Tevins for all it costs, if this better work, if that line is true and relates to, season 4, season 5, season 6 events, then it more than likely comes from whatever happens in 2029, which we see. What was that episode? What did I say that was? Like 30 something, where we see God tier Tevin and Shay. And Tevin says, "Shay, we need to talk." So whatever Tevin knows and is talking about in this moment more than likely comes from that conversation. And that would just make the most sense as of right now. Because there's no other way for Tevin to know what Shay's plans is. What's good, Kelvin? We just talking about some Ordeal right now. What's good, Mr. Archives? We just having some Ordeal talk. Y'all keep the spoiler talk to a minimum 0. My boy Code Archives in here. He don't read ahead. But anyway, I was saying that we're talking about right now the sort of future of the series in terms of, like, I guess what it would look like. And MJ said he's thinking it'll move sort of like Berserk. Now, I haven't read Berserk, but I just assume it's going to be on a similar path because I know Berserk gets like pretty bad, right? But I'm saying it could go that route because of what Tevin says in the narrating parts of episode 113 at the very beginning, because he tells Shay, for all it costs us, this better work. So, and I'm saying that could relate to whatever conversation they had in episode 30 ? Which is a flash forward of them in 2029, where Tevin says, "Shay, we need to talk." So whatever he knows here comes from that conversation there, most likely, unless we see something different in the future, which is very possible because new information will just, of course, be added. That's how stories work, right? But yeah, I think I mentioned this opening part in my 137 review, but I'm not sure. Episode 34 is the one I'm talking about. Thanks, Jalen. Yep. I know, like, where most information in the series is, like a lot of the like more specific things. At least I know where to look for them. But like some of the more minute details, I don't know. Like, I didn't even know that Jirohime's sister actually was given a name, which is Kanehime. I completely skipped over that when I was reading. And Code Archives is the one who told me. And that's episode like 92, 93, I think. It honestly could be anywhere from like 92 to like 95. Any Gaki y'all excited to see? I was talking to somebody about that yesterday. We were saying that it's surprising that we haven't seen more Gaki. Because I really expected there to be more Gaki. Like, Jose opened the season and kind of showed us like, okay, this is where a Gaki somewhat equivalent character is, and since Shay literally cuts the moon in half, we know, and Kevin has a star feat, we know the Gaki and the God tier are on those levels. So I was really expecting us to see a Gaki character, especially after Shay killed Jose. I was kind of expecting a Gaki to show up, not gonna lie. But in terms of specific Gaki characters, I'm only excited for two, and that will be the Child Gaki, which is the potential Heart Clan child, potential Shay's brother, as well as the Beast Gaki. And I'm excited for him for like a couple reasons. I like his character design for one. He comes from an actual clan, which is interesting because clans in the series are always lore heavy to some degree, especially the Heart Clan. And his character seems very interesting. Like, he doesn't seem overly serious, but he doesn't seem like overly carefree, if you will. It's like he's like a good balance. Like, he knows he has a job to do, but he also kind of is gonna talk his mind. You know what I mean? Like, he's not just gonna like he's gonna chill a little bit, but he's also gonna get his job done. You know, especially how he reacts to the stadium being blown up. He's like, oh, they actually did it. Like, he actually did it. Like, he seemed surprised that was like genuinely happened. Like, he doesn't seem like he was completely all for that. I also really want to know what his clan lore is, because Brent gave us a snippet, but who knows what it'll actually end up being, right? Don't crash stream. Chill. We might be getting to that point. Let me read these comments though. I really want to see the Child Gaki more, especially with Shay. Agreed. I think Jose was just base level Gaki. Just my take. He is. I'm pretty sure I said that in a video. He is. I'm excited for Puppet, Poison, and Beast. Puppet. A lot of people are excited for Puppet. I'm pretty sure Poison is going to be Meladan because of how he looks. But we could all be wrong about that. And then it says, I'm glad that Brent is placing the Cubs in their natural spots, power scaling wise. Gaki Child or Beast Gaki. Really hope really want a Hanzo chapter. I actually would like a Hanzo chapter as well, because I have story ideas that I think Dr. Hanzo could help fulfill and be more definitive, right? So I think anything relating to Dr. Hanzo would be pretty good for future ideas, right? Now you put this comment in here and I can easily remove it. I'm not going to, because I want everybody to see your comment and to shame you for it. Everybody look at this comment and shame him, please, on my behalf. Whether Brent is placing the Cubs in their natural spots, power scaling wise. Agreed. I like the I don't feel like anybody's where they shouldn't be. Invest in Poison Gaki stocks, people. Jay, is your name Jalen or is it just Jay? Nah, my name is, I'm not gonna tell you. But it's not Jalen. I said it earlier. If the VOD goes up, you can go back and look at it, but you won't spell it right. You won't spell it right. But I did say it earlier. But I just go by Jay because most of my family called me Jay, and then Jay the God Tier just feels really good as a YouTube name. So Jay, do we know if the boy that showed up in Shay's inner world is actually his younger brother that we assume died? Yes. It's proven that he is. I don't know why you would guess otherwise. Let me go to episode 117. You see how I knew which episode that was too? Make sure y'all watch Wolf Nara's, what is that? Ooh, what video is that, Nara, where you mentioned the different planes of existence? Because that shouldn't be Shay's inner world. I think his idea of this being heaven or something equivalent to that is right. Especially with the way the boy walks out of the garden. It's really good. But anyway, episode 117, he says, yes, you do, big brother. He literally says big brother. Not to mention, they share physical resemblances. He has Mei's hair and Sabito's. He has more of Mei's hair than he has of Sabito's, and then he has one eye, one Heart Clan eye, and one orange eye, which is Shay and Mei related. There's no way to refute that essentially. We need to drop a top 40. We need to do a top 40 stream after the end of this session. What do you mean top 40? Like top 40 characters? You mean like top 40 characters? Is that what you're talking about? You said Jay is on it, bro. This is like, I don't get paid a lot for this, by the way, y'all. But this is my job. If I could do this, like, if I got paid more to do this, I would. I'm not gonna lie. This is what I plan to do for the rest of my life. So make sure y'all like the stream. Y'all make sure y'all share the videos, run up the numbers, push the algorithm. I'm gonna be up there with some of the greats. Top 40 strongest. I'm not doing a top 40. I'm not doing a top 40. Why would I do a top 40? Top 40 is crazy. I could do a top 10. I could even do a top 15. But top 40? Yeah, see, top 40 is a One Piece thing where they put everyone top 40. Wait, let me reread that again. Everyone top 40 is a One Piece thing where they put everyone top 40 characters. I'm gonna be here now. I'm gonna be there when you get your bag for this. Appreciate you, Links. Bro, you're gonna be my freaking writing editor when I actually like decide to want to take criticism. I don't feel like taking criticism right now though, so when I actually feel like taking criticism, I'll hit you for sure. What else we got? Do you think the Cubs will come to blow this season? No. It wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense writing wise, and it wouldn't make sense character wise. Not yet. Not yet. It would only make sense season 4, or unless Brent writes it at the very end of the season. But even then, I just don't think it makes sense. Like, he didn't write Shay fighting Andrea, which is something I thought was gonna happen for sure. But then that didn't happen clearly. So yeah. What else? Top 20 talent sounds cool to me. The thing is that I have an idea for let me actually look at my idea document. I need y'all to see. I'm gonna change the screen so y'all can actually see it too. Shit, this might just be a yap stream, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really feel like playing Tekken. I might play Tekken off stream, like that one RDC meme. I'm gonna play Tekken off stream. I'm gonna see if I can get some games in, but this might just be a yap stream. I'm cool yapping with y'all. I think y'all like hearing me yap more than y'all like watching me put belt to ass. But let me show y'all my video ideas. I have a lot. I have a lot of ideas. And I have them organized. I actually kind of want to reorganize them, but I have a lot of ideas. So let me make sure I change. Let me background music. Keep this on. Y'all should be able to see this. I'm gonna zoom it in actually, so y'all can see a little bit better. Yeah. That should be good for y'all. But I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot. Okay, that doesn't look like that many, but the text is small, so there's a lot. But specifically in terms of like top 40 strongest characters or power scaling wise, I have this, how strong is Ordeal? I have understanding the tier levels in Ordeal, which would be like a power scaling, another sort of power scaling type of video. I don't think I have a ranking. Oh wait, I do actually. Look, ranking all talents. Shout out John Adams. I'm gonna shout out everybody who recommends me a video. You will get shouted out in the video. It's your idea. I'm just putting it to words. I have a making talents better idea, but that might be goofy. Who knows? This is a what if. I want to do Ordeal what ifs. I do want to do Ordeal what ifs. Like people do Dragon Ball what ifs and Naruto what ifs. I want to do Ordeal what ifs. This is one of them. What if Shay accepted Anu Ak? The only thing about doing Ordeal what ifs is one, it would only be after the season is over, or the series is over. Not season, the series is over, and 2, it would take a long time because I have to make sure everything makes sense in the new writing, basically. Like the whole chain of events would be different. So I would have to make sure it's written properly. I have a top 5 worst talents. I feel like y'all can guess one of the ones that would be on here. This video right here, this Grand Galliard and Grand Templar's Vow, this was a video I was editing right before the trailer came out for season 3, and I still had it like mid-edited, but I moved some files, so like the way it's edited, completely gone. This was going to be an interesting video though. I really want to talk about this, should Sabito have had a hand. I think that'll be a very interesting topic, and I want to do like a yes and no outlook on it. I want to like answer this question with a yes and a no. This might go here. So in terms of versus ideas, I'm gonna get to y'all comments in 1 second. In terms of versus ideas, I think I got this one, Tevin versus the Titan Generals. This would be like a season 2 Tevin. I think people would disagree with this one, but I think just as many people would agree, especially the way Azam showcases himself later on in the fight. If Azam started out like that, Cass wouldn't have been able to do much. This one, I'm not gonna talk about that one actually. This one, I am gonna talk about this one though. Remember, keep your spoilers down, because my boy Code Archives does not fast pass. But this is gonna be a very interesting video, especially the way I plan to explain it. I think Rokash conceptually is closer to that of the first table than people might think, in my opinion. The only problem is that he got off season 1, and the only stronger interpretation of we have of him comes from Brent directly, which some people just don't care about. So yeah, Kage versus Rokash. I can't do this one until Rokash or Kaguya's black mask is shown. I've added this one recently because I want to actually do this fight and how I think it would go, because this fight is more than likely the one that they all had in mind for the Iron Gaki. This is like a what if, but I think this would just be like a one-off, like a quick one-off for what if. Essentially, this would be essentially what if Andrea was there when Shay and Tevin fought Rokash, like at the beginning. Like, what if she was there sooner? Basically, that's what this would be instead of showing up later. I think that'd be pretty interesting, because then it'd be a 3v1, and Rokash would probably use his state a lot sooner. This one, I think I added this one. This is gonna be cool. And just right above that, this is one of those ordeal what ifs I'm talking about. I really want to do this one because it would fundamentally change how the series goes. Like this would genuinely change a lot of what happens. I think in this instance, Leo basically doesn't die here, and Shay more than likely stays human, essentially, or at the very least, Shay might stay human for longer than he actually did, right? Maybe even just by a few years. But I think this concept is going to be very interesting to talk about. But yeah. That's kind of it. All right, let me get back. Let me see what y'all saying. Top 20 then. Oh, in regards to like a top characters, I would do a tier list. The thing is that Nara already did a tier list, and like technically we would do an updated one, but I don't know. Yeah, that would take a while, and it would take like proper explanation. I honestly think this season is going to end in a very depressing spot. Yeah, I agree. I think that makes the most sense. Darkness Before the Storm. We're having that, however this thing goes. He said, put belt to ass. Let me re-download Tekken. Too much disrespect. No, you missed it. I streamed like last week, and I went up 2 ranks. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. I went up 2 ranks. I did lose, but I went up 2 ranks. That's what I meant by putting belt to axe. I wasn't talking about the 3-0. I did mention that though, in that same stream actually. We need at least one Gaki to be mobilized this arc. I think they will, and I think they'll probably fight Kofi. I am surprised we haven't gotten more of Kevin, because I really expected Kevin to fight, what is his name? Konos? Yeah, I really expected him to fight Konos this season. I have an idea. Wait, I have an idea document of Ordeal. What is? I was just about to propose it. Ha 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 ha. Send it to me on Discord. Would love the Gaki to have a rival like the Gatu did in 128, just to show their parallels. That would actually be really fire. Top 10 fan-made talents. I could do that one. It would be like the lineage. It'd probably be like a sort of, I don't know how I would do that one though, because I can be biased. So there's a certain level of strength I dislike when people make talents. Like there's a certain level of strength, like no matter how good it is conceptually, there's a certain level of strength I just like dislike overall, in my opinion. Not that like character or fan-made talents can be strong. It's just it gets to a point where it's like, did it need to be this strong? Or like, even if it conceptually makes sense for it to be this strong, did it need to be that strong? You know what I mean? So I probably would have too much bias in this one, and I would have to get somebody's help making a top 10 fan-made talents. All the Gaki deploying at the same time sounds so chaotic, especially since like Berto and Melodan like clearly don't like each other. I do want to see more Gaki character dynamics though, like that. I would love for to see who the Beast Gaki is chill with, unless he like doesn't like anybody. Wait, facts, because some don't even like each other. Oh yeah, I just said that's crazy. Rokash got the crocodile treatment. Facts, especially since crocodile actually like pops off in a manner of speaking during Marineford. I can imagine a Gaki accidentally hitting a teammate. Coldest lines on Ordeal sounds fun. Thank you. Brent's pen game is insane sometimes. Yo, it's actually crazy. He'll have some of the coldest lines ever. I think by far one of my favorites is Ilios's in episode 24, when he talks to Okeanos and he says, only a fool in his folly would try to douse the sun. That is actually the coldest line in season 1. I don't care. That might be like genuinely, that might be like top 5 lines of all season of season 1. No cap. In the Rokash one, Leo would die, but Rokash with his pride would feel entitled to being Shay's master. Yeah, but I think there'd be more to it. Not outside of that. Like other elements. Like Cass would be there. Like Cass would actually be a wolf cub, you know what I mean? And the thing is also it's how Leo dies that's important, because he would either die to Veal or like a not scared Abel. You know what I mean? But then again, who knows on that one? But it really depends on how Leo dies, because you could argue he wouldn't die even for a little bit, especially if 2 of his threats remain allies for years. That one's just gonna take a while, because I want to write that one really well. Like I want that one to be written really well, and I want everything in it to make perfect sense, so that nobody can ask and be like, well, why did you do it like this instead? I want it to be sort of clear that this is how it should go, not even how I think it goes, how it should go. A Rokash would become the Pack's mentor then, if he never left, and Leo would retire much sooner but still alive. He'd probably get assassinated in that specific scenario. I didn't edit one, so just saying, we can put ends on a definitive one. I think this is for the tier list. This would be a good collab. I'm okay collabing on this one. I think that'd be a good collab, because I don't want to do a tier list by myself. If I'm being completely honest, I don't want to do a tier list by myself. I think I'd rather do it with somebody. So post season 3, Jay the God tier code archives. We have 2 confirmed. We have 1 confirmed collab. This is going to be number 2. Second confirmed collab. We might actually have 3 collabs, but I'm not sure about that one just yet. But we do have 1 confirmed collab, so this is gonna be two confirmed collabs. How y'all feel about that? I believe if Rokash never leaves, Shay eventually becomes a Thanatos vessel again. That shouldn't work. For the simple fact, Aldrich tells us that he can't get the talent again. So it shouldn't work like that. Yeah, off of that alone, but there's no reason for Shay to get Thanatos again if Abel exists. You know, that's why Shay was a backup plan. He wasn't their immediate plan. He was a backup just in case. Just in case it didn't work, essentially. But Abel was always going to be the next Thanatos vessel, essentially. There's no reason for Shay to be Thanatos again, especially if Rokash doesn't leave and Leo still ends up dying, Leo would still pass Ilios on to him. That's kind of definitive. Like, Shay almost can't not have Ilios, unless the what if he stayed the Thanatos vessel, which I do not want to do. That's a big can of worms. High chance Kofi and Gaki will fight Kevin up in the stars. Yo, that drunk uncle. I think Rokash would be a big brother to the Cubs. I think he'd be more like an uncle. The Ray Rokash's character is, even in the fight, and we'll talk about this, but like in the collab with me and Nara, it's Rokash related, but the way Rokash actually interacts with them, but up until he uses his full state, it's a test. And even then, when he uses his full state, it's still a test. So he'd be more like in my opinion, he'd be more like an uncle to them. Because he's older by a good margin, but he's also wise in a unique way that isn't like that of an older brother. He's not like Lewis or Shay, right? He's wise in a sort of different way, and his character also aligns with that, right? So I think he'd be like an uncle, like an actual uncle, not in like a Yukiko just calls Shay's quote unquote brother's uncle, like an actual uncle to them, because he would literally be around them. Shay would probably call him uncle too, like Loki. But like I said, Cass would also be there, and Rokash is Cass's uncle, so I feel like that adds to it, in my opinion. Also, Jay, if you do top 20 fan talents, you can set rules and have people start fresh to have it be most fair. Honestly, I would probably need your help with that. I don't feel like the thing about ranking other people's work is like I'm passing judgment on it, and like that seems a little unfair, even if it's the point. Like that, to a certain degree, it's a little rude, and that's not who I want to be for the most part. I don't really want to have to pass judgment on somebody else's work to a certain extent. Like, yeah, I can have my own opinion on it, but like at the end of the day, I can give pointers and tips, but like if it's good, it's good. But I really don't want to have to like be like, okay, I like this one more because of this, and I like this one more because of this. It's just not how I want to portray myself on YouTube, if I'm being honest. I'll do it, but I would do it with others. Like I would do it with you, and I would do it with like Mango's input. So it would be like a I'm putting it on the internet, but it's not just my voice, it's like other voices too. That way it's more fair for one, and that way there's more minds in it and us outside of just me, right? Gaki arriving at once would show the threat of Thanatos' army, so it'll be a lot more aura farming than destruction. That's funny. When Bjorn died, who? Pan tells Veal to use his strength or he'll die. So cold. You're talking about I think you're talking about when Bjorn is about to hit him with Meshelger. I think I know what you're talking about. You confused me a little bit with that wording, but I think I get what you're trying to say. I expect Kofi to move like 8 gates guy without the drawbacks. That seems like a fair assessment. Fam, I know you not. Wait, I know you. Fam, I know you ain't want to edit all that. No, I can edit a tier list. I like editing. My drive is a little bit down, but I like the process. So I'd rather edit and make it look good, even if it's like long. Like I actually enjoyed doing that, like two and a half hour long Q&A. So 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 yeah, I'm okay with editing, especially since I want to edit better. Like I think I might do it sooner rather than later. I might get DaVinci. I think it's called DaVinci, the editing software. I think I might get that sooner rather than later. See, this is why you're the Ordeal information goat. Thank you. I really tried my best. I truly do. Will we see more talents like Migdal L? If you mean in terms of angelic, I'm not sure. If you mean in terms of power, more than likely, because it's a talent type. There's no reason for us to not get talents of that type. But Migdal L is like a talent close to the grade 4. So if you mean like if we will get more talents like that are sort of angelic by nature, seemingly, or in that sort of upper echelon of being of talents, then more potentially, but it depends, because those talents seem to have like a purpose or like intent. But even Ian's talent of Migdal L is like a little unique, and it almost perfectly relates to him, but we would need to see more to draw those proper parallels. I think Leo in his old age would tell Shay the truth about everything before passing his talent to him. That's a fair assessment, and I actually think that would happen, and that would be a good scene. I like that. Now I gotta chill with that Lewis hate. I'm watching you, bro. What did he say? What did he say about Lewis? What did he say about Lewis? Did he say something in a video? I need at least 5 eps when it comes out. Wait, when it comes back this week. I'm having withdrawals. 5 episodes of what? 5 episodes of what? CEO Lil Saint. What 5? Like just 5 episodes in general? You want Brent to come back and just drop 5 on your head top. That's what you want. And at least 3 chapters or just one super long chapter. Yeah, hopefully 143 is longer. That boys was chatting. But yeah. I got a lot of ideas. Oh, another idea I had, y'all probably missed it. When the season is over, there's like maybe like 4 videos that I'm gonna do definitively. But I'm gonna do people have asked for like a re-explanation of the wolf pack, which I was gonna do anyway, but I think we have enough information for each character to get a like at least 10-minute video. So I'm actually gonna do a wolf cub sort of like who are they video, but it'll be a lot more specific and a lot more explanatory. Like it'll be a look at like who they are as a character, at least I want it to be, and then it'll be a look at their talents, and it'll be how they use it, and then it'll also be like a look at their arsenal in the case of Shay, right? But yes, so like, but that's gonna be what 6, 7 videos by itself, right? Unless certain characters don't get shown. Like I don't think I'll do Anton or like Andrea, because well, Andrea actually does have a reason to get a video, but Anton hasn't done anything, so I probably won't. Basically said Lewis was like fodder. Nah, Lewis is good. I don't know why he would say that, but I think Lewis is good. I get that, but constructive criticism can really take their skills to the next level. And do you think Abel/Thanatos would punish or kill Vial for his current state or failure? Possibly, but there's also a no to that. But that's also a spoiler, so I can't talk about that. Keep the spoilers to a minimum. Actually, keep them to 0. Honestly, I can understand Lewis' hate before his fight with Vial. Hopefully the break between season 3 and season 4 isn't as long. I actually want it to be as long. Y'all probably hate me for that. Y'all probably be like, Jay, why you want the break to be so long? Honestly, it's not that I'm ready for the season to be over, but doing the videos like this is pretty taxing. So this break was very, very good. Very, very good for me. Um, very, very good for me. So I'm not ready for the season to be over in terms of like pure enjoyment of Ordeal, but in terms of like what I do with it, I would like it to be wrapped up so that I can digest it and then, outsource it back to y'all, right? Because one of the videos I want to do, like the first video when the season is over, is going to be a hopefully in-depth review of the entire season, right? The idea is to do it from the beginning of the season to the end of the season and look at each arc and each fight that encompass, the season, right? I have certain gripes I want to get across. I have certain things I want to praise, but I think all of that will encompass a potentially hour-long review video of the entire season. Now, why did I bring that up? Oh, so I brought that up because that incorporates an actual reread of the season, while I also take notes on the side of things I want to point out and want to criticize or praise, right? And I can't really do that if the break between season 3 and season 4 is shorter. Of course that probably will take at max a month, but I would need a decent amount of time to compile a video like that, right? I also don't think Brent is just gonna Brent is if Brent truly had the capacity to, I think he would choose to take his time even more than he already does with everything he does. And that would be drawing and that would be writing, right? I feel like that's the type of person he is when it comes to the story, right? So the fact that season 3 took the amount of time that it did and we're getting this quality is a blessing. We should genuinely be happy that he was able to even have that much time to do it, right? And honestly, I'm okay with the season. I'm okay with the break being as long, if not even a couple months longer, just because it really wasn't I can't even remember when season 2 ended, the date specifically, but keep in mind, I don't think I started my channel a few months after it ended, and even then it didn't feel like we were waiting that long. Yeah, see, I think it ended in February, right? And my channel came up in May. So it wasn't that long. Plus y'all had me to outsource content, bro, for months. Months. 18 months is crazy. 12 months is more reasonable. 18 kind of pushing it, but if Brent is given all of that time, then the quality of the season will be that much better. It'll be that much better because we are getting I'm gonna say this in the review. I think as of right now, season 3 is better than season 2. As of right now, especially if we get better things in season 3 or in the next 25 episodes. I think it'll be that much better, or it'll make this season that much better. And I don't even just mean in terms of actual fights. I mean in terms of themes and ideas that are actually brought up, right? For example, Lewis's entire "the first shall be the last" concept is one of the best things about this season so far. I think another example, or I guess not an example, but Shay's Thanatos Chi is a concept that I would not have guessed at all. Another example, Cursed Chi. Cursed Chi being a part of Zahara before Shay taming her, great concept. We have so many things to actually discuss and, hope for moving forward, little ideas that could be implemented in season 4 and 5, right? Based off this season alone. So yeah, hands down, see, 3 is better than 2 right now. Absolutely. Like I think that's just how it's gonna be as the series goes on. Like 4 should be better than 3, 5 should be better than 4, and 6 will just be the finale, and it'll be, the full circle of how the quality of the series, right? And so it should be that much leagues ahead of 1, and just better overall than 5. But things could happen. The quality could dip. I'm gonna be here the whole time covering it, giving my thoughts on it. If the quality dips, you're gonna hear me say it. Um, been saying it's better since also the strongest start of the season. True. As a whole, or the first half. I'd say the first half, but I think as of right now, as a whole, since we haven't seen it in its entirety, but so that would technically encompass the first half. But I think as of right now, it's better than season 3 or season 2. I'm tripping. I think Andrea's next talent weapon will be specifically compatible for her talent. The thing about her talent is like Andrea's talent conceptually, and I will mention, I might even make a video on this I might mention this when I do her video. Her talent conceptually is the worst among all of the Cubs. Everybody has a conceptually better talent than her. Lewis, even if you're not a fan of Lewis, his talent conceptually is better than hers. Yukiko was given a god tier level talent, and she's already really good with it, and it just overall is better than Andrea's talent. Azam, Azam's talent is essentially just super speed, but like he also has a weapon that's made to pair well with his talent, right? So like it just fits, right? And he also is able to like slightly heal, right? He can also think faster. Like all of their talents, at least for the most part, are conceptually better than hers. The thing that makes Andrea really good and really viable as a character and as like a 150 member is her connection to Leo and Pandora's chest. And if everything I've said about Pandora's chest is true, and all the theories that I've brought up about Andrea and Pandora's chest is true, then that object by itself is what makes Andrea as a character that much stronger, right? Like she's that much stronger because she owns it. Yeah, but Andrea, so like her talent at a base, like nothing technically would pair well with it. Like every talent weapon she would just be able to use and be able to wield really well. But like there's nothing innately that would just make her talent of weapon mastery that much better. Like even Norigiri, aka Zahara, can only do that so well. Like how do you boost weapon mastery even more, essentially? Like, and the way Andrea is doing it, she is essentially, I really hope I'm right about this, she's essentially fusing her talent with that of the talent weapon. So weapon mastery and Elliot are combined now, right? They're one talent. So it's like weapon mastery, I'm not sure if I want to say plus or equals, said insert talent here, right? And that hopefully is what encompasses her ability to use the scales. And then she also should be, but since she has a deeper connection to the talent through it also now innately being her own, she can use deeper techniques. But it still gets to a point, like you can only push that to a certain level. Like you can't do that much more with it. Like Norigiri really showed like its talent boosting capabilities, especially in terms of chi and curse chi. But Andrea doesn't fight that crazy when she uses Norigiri. Like she doesn't fight that crazy. Like in terms of like skill, that's not her best skill showcase, like at all. When she uses Norigiri, like it's not. Her best skill showcase is probably it's either against Sota or Goro. and that's probably because those are like her only real fights outside of what she does in season 1. But there are actual reasons as to why those are her like really good showcasings, because she uses Ilios in conjunction with Muramasa. She uses her experience to count the bullets that I said Sota, I meant Vince, that Vince has. And so she is she's able to like do really well. But against Goro, she has to cycle through her weapons, which it looks bad on her, but at the end of the day, she's also able to figure out what Goro's talent is, or what like an effect of it. She's able to kind of deduce that he's probably dead, and she's able to match him with Alistair, a weapon that is slower than that of Muramasa or Elliot. Like, it's just slower. She's able to match him almost comfortably. Like, she's able to go toe to toe with him in terms of, physicals, right? Yeah, Brent did say her talent type was control power. I did think it was support originally, but it is control power, and control power actually makes sense, especially with how she uses the weapons. And if you note in season 2, during the Sabito flashbacks, this is probably like episode 70, like 3 or 72. I think Sabito or May ask about Andrea, and her father Jamie says she's surprisingly strong, which would make sense if she has a power type talent, because power type talents also can boost the physical raw physical capabilities of a Kimyo, right? So if she's had a power type talent her entire life, she would be naturally even stronger than what a Kimyo would be, right? Control makes sense because I'd say it's because of the way she uses Pandora's chest and the way she sort of imbues her soul into her weapons. I think control just naturally makes sense in terms of that whole concept, right? Nothing else would make sense in my opinion. It's her worst skill showcase technically, yeah, because she only really has 4, I guess. She only has 4 technically, and she does objectively worse in that one. She also is mentally nerfed. We have to keep that in mind. She is mentally nerfed. But even still, like I said, she doesn't fight that great with Zahara, aka Noragiri. But even before that, she's not fighting that great with Ettore Jero either. Like, she's not doing crazy things. Like, she does do something cool, but like she doesn't do anything crazy. And Leith is able to break out of the chains, and he's able to block, and I think he dodges the green blades as well. But either way, he's able to react to them, and they don't do any damage to him. So Ettore Jero isn't like a crazy talent weapon for her either. Now, we do have to keep in mind she doesn't use a power type, was clearly evident when she punched the truck. Yeah, I mentioned that in a comment on in my last video, like how she's a power type, and I think I mentioned the truck feed, but yeah, very clearly a power type. But she doesn't. We have to keep in mind that when she fights Leith, she doesn't use scale at all. She doesn't even have a sleeve, which means she doesn't have her soul imbued into Ettore Jero either. Which that makes a difference. Like, it's very clear that makes a difference. And Andrea's probably biggest thing, outside of like Brent just not doing it, is the fact that she doesn't use full scale, I guess, more often. She does use it against Goro, like she has to. She has to, but she doesn't do it against Sota. Vince. She doesn't do it against Vince because she uses Elliot instead, or Ilios instead. But I mean, what's really stopping her from doing both right now? Like, what's stopping her from stacking them essentially? It might burn her stamina, but it would off the opponent quicker. But her fight with Goro is a good showcase for her because she actually uses scale more. But in this fight, where she's mentally nerfed and willing to almost do whatever it takes, she doesn't even use scale at all. So, I'm really hoping we get better feats and better showcasings and upgrades for Andrea, because her character, even though she's like, her talent conceptually is the worst among her group, she's still is written in a way where it's really cool to witness. So she's also the first top 150 member we see in the series, and she's been reduced to mental rubble. So I need something more from her. That's why I really want her to get Malhazar's sword, because even if it doesn't have a talent weapon, it would just look really cool on her, and it would be a good theme for her connection to Shay and the Heart Clan. Like, yeah. What'd you say? I feel like she needs a big power buff if she's gonna stay in the conversation. Yeah, it just depends on what that thing is. I brought up some ideas. One thing that she needs to do, or there's two things I think that would really help her, at least, is being able to use scale with two talent weapons at the same time. So, for example, I think like a really good combination would be like, or I think a yeah, I think Muramasa plus sort of anything, but like Muramasa plus Elliot or Muramasa plus Asgear, if she used them both at the same time, would be really good. Especially because of how Muramasa works. Muramasa seems to naturally adapt to the chi of the user, which is showcased mostly when she uses Ilios, but it's also showcased when Shay uses Ilios too. So um I I think that's how it works, but I could be wrong. But I think that in conjunction with something like Asgear would make a lot of sense, because Asgear has the capacity to like use lightning when it strikes, right? So imagine that mixed in with Muramasa. Now you have an axe and a sword that you can be, proficient with in their own way, and you could even do combo moves. And now they both have lightning imbued in them because of how Muramasa seems to work, right? And then if she's able to do like a half and half full scale, even better, right? Maybe she'll forge her next weapon. That'd be a cool concept. It depends though. It kind of depends. Um, it kind of depends. I want her to get the other 5 swords related to Noragiri. I'll bring up them in one video when the season comes back, or yeah, when the hiatus is over. But I don't think she'll. I think she could get one. I think she could get one, but I'm leaning away from her getting them for a couple reasons. One of them I can say is I think we mistook the wording, so Zahara might actually be the only Tenkagoken left. I think I explained it in the video, but Zahara might be the only Tenkagoken that exists. Yeah, like right now, like she might be the only one, because you could interpret what Aldred says to her about Noragiri at the time as she is the only one left. Like she's the last. Like she's the only one in existence, right? Which wouldn't be a far-fetched assumption, right? I don't think it's fully accurate, but like it's not impossible. We also, the Tenkagoken could also not be what we think they are, and so they might not be the Japanese swords that I mentioned in one of the reviews. She might get one of them, yeah. So I think she'll get one, but I don't think she'll get all of them. Essentially, I think it'd make more sense, or at least it'd be cool in concept if she like went to acquire them. Like she like went to acquire them. Like let's just say like she ran a gauntlet. Like she fought one person and then went to like another location to fight another person and got him. You know what I mean? Like if she does it that way, it would be cool. But I think she would get one, right? I think Andrea shines in terms of weapon versatility. So if they're all katana, it would be a little diminishing to like her owning Muramasa. You know what I mean? But if they're various weapons, then it would be different. Like if one is actually a whip and not a katana, then it would be cool. Um, that's crazy. We typed at the same time. Initial Fortune X weapon, 2 talent weapons that hide each other's weakness. Agree? Yeah, like if she could use Elliot and Alistair at the same time, she would like come to a sort of middle ground of speed, essentially, because Alistair is slow but Elliot is fast. You know what I mean? So now she's swinging with essentially a hammer, you know, or like she's swinging essentially a hammer but moving faster, you know, even though she's able to keep pace with Goro. But Goro's not like that fast anyway, so it's not like a crazy feat. Just reminding me that we need to see how talent weapons are made. It's implied that they just are born. I have a character in my story, my little side story, that can make talent weapons. I also have, if my idea of how the Eye of Time came into existence is true, then that also means Kimios can imbue their talents into objects, or like in a talent transfer like aspect. But it's heavily implied that a talent is born into an object, the same way it's born into a human, right? Brent said he left them. Yeah, he did say that. He did say that, which is why my interpretation of them is now different. But it's a spoiler, so I can't explain why. It would be cool that there would be a blacksmith clan that made talent weapons, got wiped out, and now it's just rare to have a talent weapon. That's fair. Like I said, I have a character who can make talent weapons, so if my side story becomes canon, then it's possible to make talent weapons essentially with the right talent and or the right knowledge of your talent, and maybe like a specialized weapon, like similar to the Black Blade concept in One Piece. You would just need expert knowledge on your own talent and a sort of closely related weapon, right? And then you could form a talent weapon through like a bond essentially. And then, like I said, I have a character who can just make talent weapons. He would take a physical aspect of your talent and control it through his chi, and then imbue that into a weapon. So it's more like a pseudo talent weapon, but a part of the weapon can like physically exist inside the object, or a part of the talent could physically exist inside the object. Like for another character, like one of the characters in the story, he has a state talent. I think it's state and kinesis, but like his state talent, or the state aspect of his talent, is completely put inside of a weapon, the same way, in a similar fashion to the way Rokash split his offense and defense and gave the defense to what's his name, Cass, right? Something like that, like what Hanzo does with Kaguya. Exactly. So Dr. Hanzo is the reason Kenzo exists in the story. But and that's why I said earlier that we like Dr. Hanzo, like showcasing and like how he does things is better, or would be good, because it helps answer how certain things can happen. Like we know Vayal has weapons and blades that are infused with his blood, but we don't know how they're made. We don't know how they're forged, right? We don't know how that process. We don't know what that process looks like, and we don't know what Dr. Hanzo's orb, or we don't know how Dr. Hanzo's orb is made, because it has the DNA of all the Gaki, and then it also has a portion of Kaguya's talent, right? So we know like talent objects or pseudo talent objects can exist, but we don't know how they're specifically made, or how scientifically sound you have to be to make them, right? If you're doing it through scientific means. But Ordeal is also a spiritual series, so you could also do it a sort of spiritual method. We also know Shay can we know objects can be infused with chi, infused with chi, like with Andrea's ring that she has from Shay. So, and those things are reinforced. So it's possible that, you know, through an infusion of chi, a talent weapon can be born that way too. So we just need more. We just need more information and explanation on certain things to like be certain of it. Has anyone discussed Shay's willingness to potentially sacrifice Andrea to get Zahara? Shay wasn't 100% certain he could attain Zahara. I think he was, actually. I did bring up him using her. Somebody mentioned in the Discord too, but I did mention him using her. I would like to dissect their relationship, because that scene and that concept by itself makes it very interesting. But he also wasn't willing to sacrifice her in a way because he wanted Noragiri for himself, right? Like, the plan was to essentially attain it himself, right? But he wasn't going to allow Andrea to endure the corruption that Noragiri would have put upon her. He would rather it be himself, right? It just so happened that, one, he actually wanted the weapon, and two, I guess he could tame it. I'm not sure what my second point was supposed to be right there, but I don't think he was fully willing to sacrifice her. Like, he wouldn't have let her be controlled because his goal was to have it, but he also loves her to the point where he would rather that happen up to himself, essentially, if you agree. Loki, I missed the martial arts side of the ordeal. Hopefully it comes back in some way. It's still here. It's just diminished. Like, it's still present. Like, I feel like you're underselling some of the actual choreography. Like, for example, Shay versus Lathe. A part of that is actual choreography. It's just smaller. That's the problem. It's just like, it's just diminished. Like, it's just not as visually broad as it used to be, right? Since the series is growing in power, and a lot of the power abilities aren't reduced to martial arts. Like, even Yukiko fighting the giant is more martial arts related than not. Like, she uses a lot of sword techniques in conjunction with her ice. Like, so the martial arts isn't gone. It's just either reformatted or, like I said, visually diminished, right? I think you meant to. I think you meant to tame me so it won't be a threat. And also, my theory was kind of Shay teaching Andrea how to tame it herself. Yeah, I thought that would happen too. That was something I theorized too. That's why in the poster I thought it'd be like a Shay versus Andrea type of thing, with him eventually showing her how to tame it, and then, you know, maybe something happened to Andrea to the point where, you know, now he has Noragiri himself, right? Excuse me. Sheesh. You agree that Shay's love for Andrea? Yeah. It just wouldn't make sense for him to propose to her. Or, keep in mind, guys, that Shay is almost like basically Brent, right? So it would be crazy for Brent to write himself proposing to this character and then allow that character to die, basically. like that would actually be crazy. Like that would be crazy if Brent essentially wrote himself in as Shay, because like he sees himself as Shay. So like Brent and Shay are basically the same person to some capacity. So it'd be crazy if we literally see Shay confess his love and propose to Andrea, just for later on he lets her be consumed, like spiritually and mentally. That'd be the craziest twist of the season if he wrote it like that. That'd actually be crazy. Do I have any Veil theories? You asked that earlier. I didn't mean to skip over this. Do I have any Veil theories? I think he'll die. I think he dies this season. Truly, I think he dies. The problem is like, I think it makes sense for him to die this season too. The problem is like, it also narratively makes sense for him to not stay dead, and I don't like that. Not that it's bad writing. There's an argument for that, but I just don't like it. Like, I don't like it. Like, I'd rather him die and be dead, and then we move on to like the actual threat that's been around since before Veil. You know what I mean? Anything else? I do have some ideas on his backstory, but they'll be brought up in the videos when they come out. I do have some more ideas on his backstory though, as well as his talent. I can say that I do think, and I think I mentioned this in a different video, I do think definitively his talent type is range control and corrosion, or corrosive, or corrode, whatever the actual official type for that one is. But I do think those are his talent types. Yeah. Y'all got any other questions? Might try to play Tekken if my computer doesn't decide to crash. Might try to play Tekken. You got any other questions? Any other inquiries? Whether it be channel related, idea related, personal, even other series. I don't read or watch most, but have some opinions on other things. Always willing to answer. Needed that water, man. I needed that. Your boy yapping, he thirsty. You know what I mean? Just yapping over here. Good 1 hour and 30 yap session. Hello, background music. Thank you. Are you on Twitter? No, I'm not on Twitter. Honestly, I'm thinking about deleting Instagram too. I'm not on Twitter. I haven't been on Twitter for a long time too. I deleted TikTok like last year. So, and I'm strongly, okay, maybe not that strongly. I'm halfway considering deleting Instagram. Part of the only reason I don't is because one, I talk to my friend on there a lot, and two, that's where Brent posts a lot of visual updates. So it would almost be counterproductive to delete Instagram, right? But like I'm scrolling, brain rotting, right? Looking through reels, so it's like I gotta figure out some way to chill on that, you know. I know Brent does post on Twitter in regards to Ordeal, but no, Twitter's just like a really bad place. Like it's just not good. Like it's very, very unholy, and I refuse to subject myself to that again. Yeah, if you could redesign a talent and or character, who would they be? What motivated to start content creation? I'll answer the second one because it's easier, and then I'll go to the first one. So my motivation was two things. One, I was inspired by Wolf Nara, aka Code Archives, in the chat. I'm not sure if he's still here. I watched his what is it called? The Rokash is Misunderstood video. I liked it, and then that made me realize that there's a genuine lack of Ordeal content, and I feel like a series like this deserves more discussion, right? So that video inspired me to make it, because I'm like, okay, well, one, there's a market for Ordeal content that I can fulfill, and I love to talk about Ordeal. I literally love to talk about Ordeal. That's why I've been yapping about it for 1 hour and 30 minutes. I love to talk about it. And two, I watched Nara's video and I was like, okay, if he can do this, what is stopping me from doing the same thing? So, you know, here we are. My first videos are bad, but they improved. I improved. They got better. So, you know, I feel like everybody can agree on that. There's no need to disagree. The quality has improved. I'm trying to get even better audio quality, and like I said earlier, I'm gonna try and download another editing software so like the visuals and the edits can be even better to some degree. But yeah, now if I could redesign a talent or a character, it would be Deathweb. I would make it stronger, like in terms of like ripping, like I guess like not tensile strength, that's not the word. Like we see it, he's able to cut stone, but it can't cut through other Kimios. Like, so I would make it stronger to the point where it could actually do that. So he doesn't need to imbue his father's knife talent in it. It would just be an added accessory, right? Like it would be more something he wanted to do and not something he needed to do to improve his talent. I would just make it stronger. I'm not sure how else to describe that. Anybody else? No, Rokash is good. Cass should not need another Kimyo's talent to resist his own. Cass should be able to build up his own physical resistance to his talent in the same way, like almost identical to what we see Shay do in season 2. Shay is able to be beat up, heal, and further resist the flames that burn his body. There is no reason Cass, at the age he was, should not have some form of resistance to his own explosives. That makes no sense. We literally see haste type users essentially gain durability equivalent to their speed. So they're almost as durable as fast as they are, right? So the faster they are, the more durable they are. There's no reason someone like Cass should have to rely on someone else's talent to make his talent not kill himself. I would just like, he would be completely just like that by itself is a huge amp. I think Nara in the comments mentioned one time, since he can imbue his artwork, he might be able to like draw chi, like imbue chi on his finger and like draw in the air and like do it that way so that it's like a lot better. But his talent seems like tattoo specific, right? So the idea of him being centered around tattoos is fine. I think what he lacked was like tattoos that had a more specific purpose. Like he had the skeleton snake to get away, and he had the skulls to ride and I guess also get away, and then he had the little dagger ones to throw, but like, and then he had the axe. But like, I feel like he needed more of that, like a talent that also, or like a tattoo that kind of led to the point of like a smoke screen or something along those lines. Like he needed more utility, like even more utility than he had. So better durability for one. I think the ability to like turn off his tattoos, explosives, would be really good. Like he could fake people out essentially. Like there's a lot you could redo with him, if I'm being honest. Those are my little light takes on that though. You're editing next season. Will the Gaki take action or take out some god tier? Brent did confirm that one would die. I don't know which one, but for some reason my money's on Minamoto dying to the god tier, or to the Gaki. Do you think Kaguya is Yukiko actual uncle, or is it a clan thing? No, he's actually related to Yukiko, because Yukiko's related to Shay, and Shay is Sabito's son, and Sabito is Kaguya's older brother, so Yukiko is Kaguya's niece. Like that's basic. Like that's implied. Like that, like it makes more sense. I understand why you'd ask that, because Yukiko calls everybody older than her uncle. Well, specifically Shay's quote unquote brothers, but they would also be like her brothers too. She just refers to them as uncles. That also could be a Caribbean thing that that Brent writes in. Like that could also be that as well. The same way I think Shay refers to Demaya's mother in a certain way that's like only specific, right? When did Brent say a god tier was gonna die? Was it live? I don't know. You're not in the Discord, but I think Nauni said it. Said that he said that it could be in a live, it could be in a Twitch stream. If I'm being honest, I'm not the one who heard that. It was just told to me by a trusted source. So if that's not the full truth, then that's on him. But if I think it makes sense for a god tier to die anyway to a Gaki, because the god tier are told to us by Brent. They're like, the Gaki are a god tier with more chi. So essentially they have who knows how much more chi than a god tier has. And a god tier like Sabito can fight for 72 hours straight. And yes, the interpretation of 72 hours makes more sense than any other argument you could hear. But yeah, so essentially they would have even more stamina than that, and then they would have even more chi to imbue their attacks with. Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it. So it just makes sense for one of them to die. I don't know. I can't guess which one, because I don't know who's supposed to fight who, outside of like Minamoto and the Beast Gaki and like Konos and Kevin. But like everybody else is kind of like, who knows, right? Like maybe Abijah would fight the Child Gaki again, but like he literally blocked Berto's blade, so ring blade, so it's kind of up in the air, man. But I do think one of them. I think he said one of them will die, but I think it makes more sense for one to die anyway. Like not everybody can live, essentially. Like it's better for the story if not everybody lives, regardless. That also gives us a reason to have Heaven be a god tier anyway, because he's a god tier in the future, so he can't be a god tier if they already exist. Like he would essentially just be waiting for one of them to die, which would happen anyway, in a manner of speaking. He should have gotten a Zenkai boost if he was injured by his tattoos. That's exactly my point. Like he should have built a natural resistance to his own talent. Like it just makes more sense for him to be able to resist his own explosives, right? Shay can resist his own fire. Tabito and Yukiko should be able to resist their own ice. Why can't this random resist his own explosives? It makes almost no sense. He just got nerfed. But it's okay because it gives us a little bit of lore implication on talents being able to naturally grow to the point where you can, if you have enough experience with it, you can separate it from yourself and impart it onto something else, right? Whether that be somebody's body, whether that be an object, not technically confirmed, but I think it's possible as well, because why wouldn't it be? I think the utility was a creativity issue rather than a talent issue. Yeah, Cass's character led him to be pretty stupid. So, like, he was obvious. I guess not obvious with everything he did, but like, his character made it so that he was readable to a certain degree, and then his final attack, his final attack attempt was just able to be blocked by Lewis. Like, and then every other cub would basically one tap him. Like Ilio State Shay would murk him. I don't see why a Lionhide Tevin wouldn't murk him. Anton should have fought somebody technically stronger, at least in terms of physical capabilities and not like overall destructive capacity. Like everybody else would just beat him. Like he's not great. And I think his talent plays into his character because he's almost explosive in a way, so it like adds to it. But I disagree because we've seen with the Iron Gaki and Kevin that gets talent and develop in a way to have a certain aspect you can't control. That's true, but Cass is just a really bad example. Like, just a really bad example. I think it should be possible for him. Kevin is different, and the Iron Gaki is also different. The Iron Gaki is a bad example actually because he didn't. His thing was subconscious. Like I guess he couldn't control it, but it's not in the same way that Kevin and Cass are essentially. Like the Iron Gaki isn't a good example for this because while yes he didn't control his talent fusion, it also wasn't a bad side effect in a manner of speaking. Not to the same way being literally unstable is to Kevin and not being able to resist your own explosions are to from your own bombs like Cass. But Kevin is a good example but the thing is we don't know how that happened. We don't know how that happened. It almost feels like it's implied that he released all of his power and it kind of destroyed his body. You know what I mean? But Ilios is also a good example of like a talent destroying the body because we see it literally burn off flesh and then it has the natural capacity to regen it. I just think Cass should have had better durability anyway. Like it just makes sense. Like think about it like this, like to a certain degree. Like think about it like this. If you break a bone, your bone can grow back stronger, I think. I'm not that smart, y'all, but it grows back and it should grow back to a certain degree stronger. I think they actually do this in like Muay Thai training where they're like rub something on their legs to make their like shins and like the bones in their shins harder, right? So if Cass is being subjected to literal explosions from a child, his actual physical capacity to resist that should naturally have increased, right? Unless he's constantly going up in stages of explosions, right? But there should be a certain point where like he could resist his explosions to a certain degree, right? Now, Ilios and Katagita are in a similar example, but they're also stronger talents. Like they're also stronger talents, right? It makes more sense for a stronger talent to not be able to fit inside a good vessel, right? That's why Shay is essentially a good vessel for like every talent, because he was born with the capacity to hold the strongest talent in the series, right? So it makes sense that somebody like Kevin, who's essentially a nobody, not to be disrespectful, but like he's essentially a nobody. We don't know his origins. We don't know who his parents are. We don't know if he has Kimyo genealogy, right? But he's essentially kind of a random who was given a really strong talent, and his really strong talent has a capacity to has great destructive capacity even to himself, right? But even then, it still gets to a point where I think the same thing that can be applied to Cass can apply to Kevin, right? It should just be slower. He should just be introduced to it slower, right? I think it's possible for a Kimyo to resist their own abilities to a certain extent. Yeah. Who's your favorite design character appearance wise? Season 3, I'd probably say Tevin or Shay, especially with Anointed War State. Bari would lose the bone and not have it for a few seconds. I think that's true, but like the thing is her bones were also being shot from her skin. But the talent description literally says they regenerate in, I think, seconds or moments or something like that. But at that point, they would just be regenerating inside her body. They wouldn't immediately regenerate and replace the actual protrusion of it from her skin, right? So she wouldn't have it for a few seconds, but they would regen inside her body. And I actually think they regen quite fast. But we don't see it, so I can't be sure. But I think the description implies they regenerate almost immediately. I think it says that. I just can't be too sure because I don't want to pull it up. But the actual protrusion, like the bone itself would be replaced inside her body, but the protrusion wouldn't be. That would be an active thing on her part, which makes more sense overall from how her talent works, right? Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions? Drink some water. Let me stay hydrated. Facts. I'm actually gonna see if there's another character I would redesign. Oh, actually, any thoughts on the Great Force parents? Yeah, I'm not gonna say it fully, but I think they might not have had a father, which sounds crazy, but I think they might not have had a father. There's a line in the Fast Pass episode that can imply that they don't, but that doesn't guarantee that they don't. You know, I just think it might be possible. And they could be like a Mary sort of situation, but I don't fully agree with that. I just think that's a possibility. I think they might not have had a father, but they would be Greek. So I think their origin overall is something that we want to discuss, right? Like I want to see. Cass talent was too powerful. I'm assuming that's supposed to be powerful for him to handle, but I do think some durability may have been gained through training. But with how destructive his talent is, there's only so much you can do. Like they were born directly from the earth. No, like they were born like Jesus was to Mary, right? Like they might not have had a father, or no, or they could have been sent as little existences. Like they might not have been born either though, but they do technically have physical bodies, so it's possible that they were still born. But subjecting birth of four boys onto one woman is crazy. But I'm not really sure. Like I think they might not have had a father, like an actual physical father, but them having a mother seems proper, considering the biblical relations of the story. Um, the thing about Cass's durability is that we don't even know when Cass. Well, actually, I'm pretty sure Brent said in a live stream that Cass had the durability of Anu Ankh when Rokash went to fight Leo. But what we don't know is if any durability of his talent was granted to him naturally. And Rokash almost implies it never was. So there is a possibility that Rokash, like Cass, wasn't given the chance to have his natural durability gained. And I've kind of always felt like that. Like I don't think he was given a proper chance. And I had an idea to actually do a Cass deep dive video where I look at his character, because Cass, from when we first meet him to when we actually see him fight Azam and Lewis, isn't the same character in my opinion. Like he's more confident. He actually has more tattoos. He seems a lot more arrogant and cocky. And instead of using, human-made weapons, he's using his talent, right? So I think the actual confidence his uncle's durability granted him allowed him to be okay with using his talent, which is something he wouldn't have done before because he would probably still be injured by it, right? And he didn't have the training to actually potentially handle that. Training your talent is really important, especially early on. We don't really have any great examples for it, but Yukiko is one because her training, actually we do. Sabito is a great example because he mastered, and though he's a prodigy, so he's not the best example, but he mastered the two forms of Hisame at a young age because he was able to train with it at a young age, right? So training your talent young is really important. So if he's like not actually able to be trained in that way, it kind of makes sense why he doesn't have durability that can, like, compared to some of the lower ends of his explosives. I'm not saying he has to survive a nuclear moon hour bomb. That would be like a god tier level feat, and he'd probably need rock armor to do that, which is something I think he should have had instead of being given Anu Ankh, because according to Brent, Rokash knew rock armor and he was using it more than likely during his fight with the Cubs. So it makes sense for, even if he can't have his own innate durability, we actually have a story given way for a character to be more durable. And the fact that Shay can survive explosions from Jose shows that rock armor is a good technique to learn if you don't have innate durability that is good, right? So Cass should have learned rock armor. That would make Rokash strong all the time. Like he would always be able to access his full power instead of being half as strong, right? Yeah. I think in the flashback, Katagita says Ilios and Okeanos sound like mother and father. Oh, actually, I think you're right. I'm okay looking into that. I think you might be right. Episode 24. I look at this episode a lot. Okay, I don't look at it that much, but I do tend to look at it quite often. Let me see. No, not there. Not there. Not there. Actually, it might be higher. Hold on. No. 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 Not gods. Such a burdensome man. No. Spare your donkey speech. No. No. hot take, I actually think Ilios might be the best Adamos brother in terms of skill and like actual power. Not like the strongest, but I think the best. It's like is a better way to say it. The ocean dispatches flames. Only a fool in him. Yeah, I don't think he actually. Oh, wait. Oh, it's right here. It's right here. Yeah. Oh, you're right. He does mention father. He does mention father. I take my opinion back. Take my opinion back. I wonder who their father is though. Um, I think. Oh, wait. I don't think he would have the chi reserved for rock armor, but I agree. Maybe he could have do something. Maybe changing his fighting style similar to Lewis. I mean, we don't really know how much one chi needs to have. We don't even know if. Actually, I think we do know that it needs to be constant. Um, I mean that doesn't technically mean that he has to have it all the time though. He would really only need it when he's using a bomb in his close proximity. That's all he needs. And he would only need it for certain levels, right? We also can't quantify chi. Like we really can't. We can only potentially quantify higher characters chi reserves, but we don't know how much chi he actually has. Um so I think he all Cass would need to do with rock armor is use it when he actually is about to like or when he has more potential to be injured. For example, he lets off bombs. He lets off 3 star-shaped explosives that are literal like inches away from his body. All he would have to do is use rock armor at that moment and turn it off when it explodes, essentially. That would be not only a really good chi control feat, but it would show his capacity for rock armor and how good it is actually when used in proximity to him. Especially when going up in the tiers of explosions, right? Like I don't think his rock armor would be enough to survive a nuclear moon hour, right? But the levels of explosions he was throwing out, if he had rock armor, he would be able to survive them. And all he has to do, literally all he has to do is use them at the same time he is actually when the explosions are actually going off. I think you're right on the Ilios being the most skilled with his talent. Yeah, it's not that like I know he's the most skilled because Thanatos says so, right? But what I mean is that Brent in the Q&A almost implies that actually he doesn't even imply. He says pretty much verbatim that because of his humble nature, he's able to access more of his power in comparison to his brothers. And I feel like that makes him stronger than them by proxy, right? You know? Like we know he's skilled. Thanatos says he's mastered his power more than his other brothers, but if he's also able to draw out more than the other ones, that would make him stronger, would it not, right? Like if he wouldn't that tax his stamina? I mean if he's keep in mind we're talking about a version of him that's actually been training since he was a kid. That's what I want you to keep in mind. So we're talking about him actually being trained to use his talent effectively, or in the most effective way possible in the verse. So if he can't have natural durability, Rokash and Cass, along with Janelli, were on the run for 2 years. That's enough time for him to actually learn the basics of whatever rock armor is and apply it in a proper way that doesn't leave him drained of chi. We also know that as your talent grows, you get more chi. So if we want to, we could say attack potent or destructive capacity might equal chi reserve to some degree. So that means Cass could, in theory, and I'm really just spitballing here. I'm not saying this is true. He could have 3 nukes worth of chi, right? Like he could have 3 nukes worth of chi, right? right? So if that's the case, then he has enough chi to use explosions and rock armor. He also doesn't get tired in any capacity when he does use his explosions, so we know he has a decent good amount of stamina. Not as good as Rokash, who can fight for up to 10 hours straight, but we know he has a good amount of stamina because he can throw out these explosions, because at the very least, from how it's implied in with Azam's fight against Ephialtes, creation talents use more chi, but he's creating smaller bombs and smaller explosions, so he's not using as much chi as one might believe, right? And if that's the case, then he has enough chi to use rock armor in small and little ways that could be a detriment to his own life and his own safety, right? And even then, like I said, even if we want to take the 2 years, in 2 years, Tevin was able to upgrade his hide, which probably granted it more durability, and it allowed him to feel less impact from his own from strikes, right? So, and then in 6 months, it was upgraded again. So intentful training with your talent is very important in the series, right? So if they actually trained Cass in a proper way, he would be way better off than what he was when we saw him 2 years later, right? And like I said, we can quantify certain characters' stamina, like Lewis, like Sabito, like Rokash, but we can't quantify characters like Cash because we don't know how much chi they have, because chi also incorporates stamina. So if you want to just highball it and say the amount of chi he put into his bomb would equate to about how much chi he has, we could say that. Like I said, I don't think that's completely true. There might be some truth to it to some capacity, but we just don't know how much stamina he has. But like I said earlier, he's able to kind of he makes a fair amount of explosions. He actually makes a fair amount. If we counted them, it'd probably be a really high number. Especially when he uses the Necropolis wave, he just makes what looks like I was gonna say tsunami, but it's more like a wave of these softball-sized skeletons or skulls, right? And there's just a monsoon of them just coursing down the street, right? And he's fine. He isn't physically tired or exhausted at all, which means the actual chi he's using for them isn't that high. At least that's how I interpret it. That seems like a proper interpretation. And then even by the end of the fight, he's still not tired. He's only really tired in a sense because he's getting punched and beat on. You know what I mean? But he was getting punched. He was going to get punched and beat on anyway, right? He was going to get punched and beat on anyway. We already knew that. Lewis tells us that Cass's capacity for other damage is still there. And we see that in the fight. So that was going to happen anyway. Rokash's defense isn't protecting him that much from external sources of damage, right? So he was gonna get punched and beat on anyway. But if he had rock armor, even if he didn't use his talent, that would still be beneficial to him because he would have better durability overall. And it would essentially be the same thing, but he would have to do it actively. He would literally just have to activate rock armor, and he could probably perform a similar feat to that of the kick he performs on Cass or on Azam. It would be the same. It would literally be the same thing, just because but instead he's using his own chi to increase his durability, instead of not, right? And it's clear, at least from what Lewis says, that the durability of Anu Ankh when it's on Rokash versus when it's on Cass isn't even the same, because if it was, nothing they did should actually hurt him. Like, nothing. Rokash is able to be completely fine when Andrea hits him with Muramasa. And again, that happens with Shay. So if the durability was of the same level, then Cass would literally not be affected by anything Lewis or Azam did. So we already know it's not on the same level. It's literally tailored to his bomb specifically. And it does increase his physical capability to a certain degree, but that's almost like just a sort of byproduct of it. But it's not so immense that he can't get punched and beat on, as we see in the fight. It's also implied, at least by I interpret that. What's the convo? We just kind of talking about Cass's durability or lack thereof naturally. I was saying, like, the question was, if I could redesign a character, who would it be? And I brought up Cass. I brought up Jamie first, and then I brought up Cass, because Cass is a better example. I mentioned Cass's lack of durability and how I feel like he should have a natural resistance to his own explosive talent, right? And now there are examples of characters not resisting their own talent, but in that same breath, there also are, you know? And so, like, to be in the God tier is to overcome your weaknesses. So it's possible, even through like outside means or internal means, that you can overcome a weakness your talent has, right? So it's possible that either Cass could have naturally gained some level of resistance to his own explosions. The problem is, it's like, we don't know. It's just unknown completely. But we do know that if Rokash knew rock armor, he could have taught it to Cass, but just didn't. Like, he just didn't, right? And but if he did, then he could somewhat replicate the durability he had when he had Anu on him, right? Which would help Rokash, because he would have the full access to his talent, right? Yeah, Cass can be better. Cass can be a lot better than what we are shown. And I agree with, where was it? Jalen's point. I feel like Cass had all the chi he needed to succeed. It's just ego getting in the way. Yes, like, that's basically his character. It's like, and that kind of coincides with the idea that talents are also reflected on the person's character to some capacity. His talent is literally explosive art, and his character is almost explosive in nature, right? He has a large ego that explodes to the point where he's willing to kill himself, the people he's fighting, and destroy Port of Spain, right? That just goes hand in hand. But yeah. Any other questions? Any other inquiries? I'm willing to yap about Ordeal. I might just change the stream title. Wonder if I can do that. Wonder if I can do that from here. I might just change the stream title. Honestly, if we want to keep the discussion revolving around characters related to Rokash, it's my opinion on Vatic. You don't want to hear that. I don't like him. I think he would lose. I genuinely think in a fight he would lose to Ilios. But that's neither here nor there, because niggas don't like to hear that. I personally like him a lot, but I need more from him. That's the consensus among other people. I don't really care for him though. I don't care. I don't care for him at all, actually. I actually might have to make a thumbnail. Let's do that on the side. I don't care for him. I think in a fight he would lose to Ilios, but I kind of explained why just a few minutes ago, because I feel like Ilios is not to a crazy degree stronger than his brothers outside of Thanatos, but I think he is more above them than not. Even Katagita, who's probably the actual strongest, or who would be the strongest if he actually mastered his power in the same way Ilios did. Um, yeah, yeah. Um, I think Vatic had a cool showcasing when he showed up in 116. Exactly. And that's my exact point. That's my exact point. If Ilios is the sun and Vatic is the ocean, why would the sun ever lose to the ocean? It mathematically can't happen. But you know, other niggas don't want to hear that. Other niggas don't want to hear that. Other niggas don't like to hear that one. But that's just me. Let me see if I got some pictures I can use. I got some wallpapers. Oh, actually, oh, don't break. Whoa. Oh, never mind. It's good. All right, y'all. Should I use the 5 pillars picture, or should I use the Shay versus Evil Shay picture? Nigga said the sea is fighting nuclear fission. That's what I'm saying, bro. I'm not understanding that one. Like, I can't conceptually understand that. Like, not only is Vatic the youngest, and I'm not saying the youngest is the weakest, but because, like, if you look at Michelangelo from Ninja Turtles, he actually has the potential to be stronger than all of them. But that role, that like potential role, was already given to Thanatos. So Okeanos, being the younger sibling who has more potential, doesn't apply, right? He's literally just, say 5 pillars bet. So he's literally just huffing copium. Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. Copium is funny though. I can't conceptualize it. I literally can't see him losing in any sense. Why does this picture look so bad? Oh, that's why, because it was low. It looks better now. Wait, okay, out of the 4, I do think he has the greatest range, but overall he's the weakest. Yeah, he has like, so he has the grandest use. In my opinion, I honestly didn't think he could even create water. I think I'm a little lenient on that opinion now, but I didn't even think he could create water when I first saw him fight. It made more sense for Kat and Ilios to be able to create their elements, but Okeanos literally controls just the water of the planet. Like, he has all access to the water of the planet, right? That made more sense to me, right? How should I make this thumbnail? Wait, what else? Honestly, I just need an example of how the Great Four interact with the users. What do you mean? Because we have an example. Wait, because I'm interested in how they give their users items. Oh, okay. That's a fair point. Because, like, Shay literally gets a shield that's, like, actually physical, but it's also kind of made of flames. It's, like, manifested of fire. We could kind of reduce that to, like a chi construct, because, and that's honestly a fair assumption, because Brent confirms that, that Kevin can make the clothes or, like, ribbons he wears out of chi. Like, it's just made of chi. So it's possible that even if you don't have a creation talent, there's like certain things you can just do with chi that like others can't, right? So it's possible that it's possible that like things relating to the Kimyo, or like things relating to the talent, can just be manifested through chi and wielded by the Kimyo. Out of the 4, I do think to play devil's advocate, maybe you can control the water and of the bodies of others. Yeah, people also like I think I'm not sure who mentioned that, but I think that was also brought up at some point in the Discord. And I wouldn't be opposed to that either. Um the only thing then it would be like is like chi resistance, because like he could control, let's just say like use Shay for example, since a lot of people want Shay to fight him. He could control the water inside Shay's body, but Shay would probably have a natural resistance to that one through the talent he has. Facts. The talent he has, but also through a sort of like brotherly type of thing. Because if you look in episode 24, Thanatos's like psychic energy attacks don't actually physically hurt them. Like they don't physically hurt. So, and I think that's because of like a natural resistance that they have to his talent. I think things like that could exist. It could also just be that they have a really good durability and he would just need more effort to actually break them like that. But if you look at somebody like Jamie, who was broken like that, or if you go to episode 140, I'm not gonna say it, but y'all know what happens. So, there's things like that, right? But I don't think something like, so like for switching back, if Vada can control just all bodies of water, and that encompasses the water in people's bodies, like bloodbending from Avatar: The Last Airbender, I think it's possible, but I think there's a certain level of chi resistance that can go along with it that could like negate it, right? There could also be natural talent resistance, which is what I just mentioned. All right, let me figure out how to do this thumbnail real quick. Should I put Ordeal stream? Oh, I did not mean to do just the one. I meant to do the whole thing. Crap. Yeah. Should I put Ordeal stream? Or should I just put stream? Like I did the other ones. Actually, wait. Oh, let me switch. This is actually where I need the this is how I make all my visuals. I use CapCut. So every time you see like a pic where it's like half and half, I'm literally going right here to collage and I'm hitting this button. I'm going to style, type, and it's literally 2 pictures, right? It's literally just 2 pictures, right? That's how I make all my visuals. Like the visuals I don't need to have multiple parts in. I needed this new chapter yesterday. I'm so invested, it's actually crazy. Hey man, it's Ordeal is peak, bro. Ordeal is truly underrated. It's my favorite piece of fiction. I think it has the potential to be as good as Avatar: The Last Airbender. The great, what is it called? What are they called? The great 3? The top 3? Whatever the top 3 anime during that specific period of time are called. I forgot. But I think it has the potential to be like that. Oh, it is stroke. Should it be like this color? No, that's a horrible idea. Oh, actually, it's supposed to stay black. I'm tripping. It's supposed to stay black. This is supposed to be a different color. Yeah, we're going with like color. Yeah. Now, should I put it down here, chat? Should I put it at the bottom, chat? Or should I put it at the top? What are we thinking? I think bottom has more negative space. Should I put it at the top? Let me know. The big 3, that's what they're called. Ordeal is the most underrated piece of media out right now. Why did I say it like that? I sound like Speed. Most underrated piece of media out right now. Facts. The pillars, the big 3. Big 3. Yeah. Thanks. I'm not gonna say nothing about nothing in case Nara's still here. I know he editing, but just know each and every one of these niggas gets talked about. I talk about each and every one of these niggas. Y'all are truly going to like that video. I don't just hope y'all do, but I think y'all are truly going to like what I say in the video. That's a great video. Oh, should I play it? Hold on. I meant to do this too. Should I do it like this? Is that too much? Is that too much? Is that too much? Got some words for somebody? Bro. Y'all, man. Brent might not like these analysis. I mean, it might get to a point where he's like, man, this guy's too good. He doing a little too much. I think Brent knows how to take good criticism though, so it's not gonna be crazy. I keep it very respectful. I don't crash out. I have the right to crash out, but I don't. This seem good? This seems good.